a rematch with Oklahoma. In Game 1 on November 18th, the Illini won 81-64, frustrating the Sooners' All-American center, Wayman Tisdale. The 6'9" Olympian was held to 19 points, hitting only 7 of his 14 attempts. The Sooners were embarrassed. They want revenge, as today, two premier teams, Illinois against Oklahoma, on CBS, the home of the NCAA Basketball Championship.
CBS Sports presents NCAA Basketball. Today's game between the Oklahoma Sooners and the Illinois Fighting Illini is sponsored by Bud Light, the light beer with a taste that's satisfying but never filling. IBM. And by the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
It's a sellout, 16,500. 7th-ranked Illinois against the 10th-ranked Sooners of Oklahoma. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender. This is a rematch of the November 18th game played in the Tip-Off Classic, which Illinois won 81-64. The Illini shooting 63% in the first half. Oklahoma only 41%. And Billy Packer, what's to expect any different today?
Well, I really do, Gary, in this respect. That's an awful early date to play a basketball game. And with Ken McAllister out, Oklahoma's not the same ball club. Although he played that day, he had not practiced, and he's a very important part to their club. Makes Tisdale a lot better with his great ability outside.
You mentioned Tisdale, one of the premier players, but Illinois did an excellent job against him in the first game.
Well, Illinois is one of the few teams in the country that can go up against a Tisdale head-to-head. With Montgomery, they've got a very powerful man inside, and he gets a lot of help on that baseline.
Lou Henson said this will give him an indication what kind of club he has.
I think he's a little disappointed what happened up in Alaska, but this club is a great club. We'll see what they can do today.
We'll be back to bring you the introduction of the starting lineups, the tip-off between Illinois and Oklahoma.
Nothing works like a Chevy truck. Introducing the new fuel-injected Tech 4 engine for 1985 S10s. 10% more horsepower and 22% more torque than last year's standard engine. So bring on the work, bring on the play. You got the guts, go all the way. And now, Chevy's made it possible for dealers to pass along special factory incentives on selected S10s with the Tech 4 engine. Nothing works like a Chevy truck.
I don't compete anymore, but I still pump iron. So after lifting a few hundred pounds, it's nice to lift one of these. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great, and it's less filling with a third less calories than the regular beer. Now, you know, bodybuilding is hard work, but having a great body has its advantages. Sure makes it easy to pick up guys. Hi, Rodney.
Oh, hi there. What's going on here? Hey, honey, how about a lift home? I like beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Do you know me? It's frightening how many novels of suspense I've written. But still, when I'm not recognized, it just kills me. So instead of saying I wrote Carrie, I carry the American Express card. Without it, isn't life a little scary?
To apply for the card, look for an application and take one.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
What would you call a Zenith that's ready now for TV stereo sound?
Smart.
With a remote that lets you switch from VCR to computer to cable to games with one easy touch.
Smart.
Plus the new Zenith Chromacolor Contrast Picture Tube for superb color.
Smart.
The Smart Sets, advanced System 3 from Zenith, designed with Zenith computer technology when you want everything smart.
Assembly Hall on the campus of the University of Illinois. Illinois leading the series 12-4 and winning the earlier one this year. Let's check the starting lineup. Darrell Kennedy been very effective on the boards, and Anthony Welch out last year with a foot injury. Anthony Bowie, an outstanding junior college transfer, and Ephraim Winters, the epitome of a power forward. Wayman Tisdale held down by George Montgomery, who was the MVP in the Tip-Off Classic. Tim McAllister playing on a knee that's giving him some difficulty, and Doug Altenberger, outstanding range from outside. The coach's son, Tommy Tubbs, and Bruce Douglas, the all Big Ten guard. And here's the officials, Ed Marisich, along with Burl Selb and Rick Wolko. Wolko from the Big 8, Sell, and Marisich from the Big 10. And Billy Tubbs Big 8 Coach of the Year, and here's the series, and you see the meeting earlier. And Billy, I sense that Oklahoma, who many people thought were a little flat in their first game, ready today.
I think Wayman Tisdale is really ready to play today. He's psyching himself up. Tough place to play here. Illinois doesn't lose often. Great jumping ability by Ephraim Winters. He got poked in the eye right after the tap.
Here's Bruce Douglas, the all-Big Ten guard, Anthony Welch.
Great man-to-man packed in is Oklahoma.
Montgomery, who did such a good job on Tisdale. Here is Ephraim Winters. He's not shooting that well right now. Neither is Illinois as a team. Douglas shakes loose from Tubbs. Rebound by Wayman.
Whoa, what bodies in there for that rebound.
Some athletes on the floor. Tommy Tubbs, the only senior for the Sooners. Baseline it goes. Hugh Kennedy can't handle it.
Good help by Anthony Welch dropping back inside. Both teams really playing packed in man-to-man defense. It's very tight.
There's Altenberger, who last year was a forward, moved to the guard. Ephraim Winters, rebound by Montgomery. He lost it, and then it's of Oklahoma. It'll be the Fighting Illini's basketball.
Illinois almost expects for Ephraim Winters to score that first two. He did it 11 times last year, and I really think that's a good matchup in favor of Illinois because he's got a lot of size on Kennedy. I believe they can go inside to Ephraim Winters.
Here's Altenberger, who had 33 points in the earlier game. Rebound by Wayman Tisdale, and he's established his room. Here's Anthony Bowie, considered the #2 junior college prospect in the country behind Walter Berry, and a foul inside against Winters. Ephraim Winters committing the foul. You can see again how fired up Tisdale is.
Means all business. Henson getting on those officials right away. Felt that there was a push off on the inside. We're going to see a lot of physical activity in this game, Gary, with the front lines, particularly Tisdale in there with Montgomery.
Lou Henson in his 10th year, the co-Big Ten champions last year with the Boilermakers of Purdue. No score, and here's Kennedy. Rebound Tisdale. And he's established his ground at both ends.
One of the things that Wayman will show today, in addition to tremendous bulk, he has that odd combination of great power and yet soft hands. He probably catches the ball as well as anybody that plays the game.
And plays with such enthusiasm. Two-time All-American. He played on the Olympic team. Took a couple of weeks off before he started the season, and the enthusiasm is back at where it was before.
I think it was a smart move by Wayman to take 5 or 6 weeks off, just so you don't have that burnout feeling.
Here's Anthony Welch, and inside we have another foul. It's going to go on Tisdale, who fouled out of the first game.
Now, what you see right there is Winters, Ephraim Winters going across to set the screen. Tisdale didn't give him any room, and therefore he had to just let up a little bit so that Winters wouldn't plow into it.
Bruce Douglas will inbounds. 2-0 Oklahoma. We played a minute and a half here in the first half. Altenberger against McAllister, and Tisdale with his 3rd rebound.
McAllister showing pretty good defense there.
Broken up nicely that time by Winters. Illinois tries to save. Good effort, and that's indicative of Altenberger. He goes after every basketball.
Well, one of the things about Altenberger that's so good to have on your ball club is he has played a defensive position both on the big guard, the small forward, and on a point guard. He has that ability. Good cut.
Back door. That ball won't go, but the foul committed by George Montgomery as Hugh Kennedy, the sophomore, 6'5", out of Oklahoma City, was fouled.
Kennedy was wide open a little earlier, and he just couldn't get him the ball in time. He'd probably had a much easier layup.
Kennedy has been a surprise from the standpoint of rebounding. He's averaging over 8.5 rebounds, and Coach Tubbs says he just seems to be in the right position all the time.
Here, I think back at that Syracuse game when most of this club was a freshman in character. He has grown from a boy to a man. That upper body has really increased a great deal.
Kennedy misses the second, and it's 3-0 Oklahoma. Illinois is 0 for 4 now from the field.
They really have had problems shooting, particularly it hit them up in Alaska. They just haven't been able to drill it from the outside.
And here's one of them that's been having trouble, and Douglas gets that one. Bruce Douglas is only shooting 36% from the field.
Billy Tubbs may have to make a change with Douglas if he gets hot because Tubbs just doesn't have the size to play Douglas inside.
Kennedy, spin move. Nice play with Ephraim Winters able to shake loose from him. 5-2 Oklahoma. We expect, Billy, before the afternoon's over, to see Bowie move to that point guard in place of Tubbs.
You see, right now what you have, Douglas is taking Tubbs.
Rebound There's Bowie, the man we mentioned. He's 6'6", but they can play the point guard with him. At least they hope he can. They'll experiment later today. Tisdale wheeling around. He walked with the ball.
Again, good positioning by Montgomery, forcing Wayman Tisdale a little bit further out than he'd like to be.
What is his range, 15 feet?
Well, I'd say that he'd like to shoot 15 feet on in, particularly with that turnaround jumper, maybe even a 12-foot range.
We saw the wins by Illinois. Oklahoma also set a school record. Here it comes to Winters.
Big advantage to Illinois on that matchup because he's got Kennedy on his back. He's just too big for him.
Winters is huge. He weighs in at about 230 pounds. He's 6'9", so strong. 5'4", the Sooners with the lead.
Tisdale was looking for the lob there, but Montgomery stayed pretty good position on him.
There's McAllister. You can see that heavily wrapped left knee, and that's been a real concern of Oklahoma. He had 2 arthroscopic surgeries on it. He won that one badly, but rebounded nicely by Bowie.
That was blocked on the arm. What McAllister is pointing it out. He got hit on the arm that time. Tim is a great shooter. There's a push by Welch inside.
And Welch commits a foul. He decked Bowie at the other end of the floor. Welch picking up the personal foul, his first, and not exactly agreeing with the call. Welch broke a foot in the second game last season, was out all year long. You wonder if they'd had him last year if they made it to the Final Four.
Well, they'd had a good chance. He was a preseason all Big Ten. There you see Welch coming through, just plowing into his man. Similar to the foul that was committed a little bit ago on the other end when Wayman Tisdale ran through the screen.
Tisdale setting up inside. The double team didn't bother him.
Good help by Winters to show that Tisdale being sandwiched by 2 excellent defenders still gets a shot off.
Billy, in that first game, they denied Tisdale the ball. They're getting it into him now.
Now Oklahoma dropping back in the zone.
9-4 the Sooners.
See Wayman Tisdale right in the middle, 2-3 zone. This helps out a little bit on those matchups.
Well, good position, but that is now 2 of 8 from the field for Illinois, and it'll be Oklahoma's basketball. We have a timeout. 15:55 to go in this first half. Sooners of Oklahoma, revenge game for them with a 9-4 lead.
Us syncopators of Progressive Ribs have a unique style of jawing.
Howard says jazz musicians talk funny.
And after a gig, I finger pop with a light beer from Miller.
After playing, Howard enjoys a light beer.
Light is super cool and a breeze on the calories, you dig.
Light is less filling with 1/3 less calories than their regular beer. And the taste, Howard?
Oh, man, it's Obop Shaban's lay down, break down birdie on the hot side of town.
He likes it.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And less.
Looks like you're into winning.
You bet.
Then today Chevrolet has a car for you. Cavalier.
Come on in, and you'll know. Turn it on, let it go. It's at your command.
2 liters of electronically fuel-injected power, front drive agility, and optional sports suspension. Cavalier. Grab one.
If this is today's Chevrolet, it's a winner.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
Selling today, it's tough. Just one sales call can cost $200. So before your people go out, make sure it's a hot lead. AT&T can help. Our people can show your people how to use AT&T Watts and AT&T 800 service. So chances are, when they make a call, they'll make a sale.
Been expecting it.
The people of AT&T Communications. We're thinking about your business in ways you never thought of.
Sunday, it's an all-new special with dozens of stars performing death-defying acts, astounding feats, and riotous comedy stunts on the 9th annual Circus of the Stars, Sunday.
The IPTAY Invitational scores last night. Clemson. Cliff Ellis will go against his former team, South Alabama, who upset Houston. St. John's. Look at Chris Mullen and Walter Berry. USC. Memphis State over Arkansas State. Washington out west. That was Shrimp with 20 points. Auburn, Chuck Person had a big game. And UAB, that's their first loss.
That was a sensational basketball game.
UNLV, our game next week against Georgetown winning.
And how about Arizona? Pac-10 looking pretty good.
9-4 as we pick up the play just outside 15 minutes left in the first half. Oklahoma with the lead. Still the same 5 in there for the Sooners and likewise for Illinois. Here's Tisdale with 4 points. Rebound Winters.
Yes, Raymond can go either way with that turnaround jumper.
He gets up so quickly, the quick jumping ability. They baseline. Welch intimidated that time. Nice hit by Montgomery.
There was a case where Wayman Tisdale really out of position by trying to block a shot on the 6'9" Welch after there was no opportunity to block it, put him out of position, put Montgomery in great shape to rebound.
McAllister, the Big 8 newcomer of the year. Off to Bowie. Bowie coming out of Seminole Junior College in Oklahoma. Baseline broken up, and it's going to be off of Hugh Kennedy. It'll be the third turnover against Oklahoma.
Well, that was real help by Montgomery to get over there in time. It's been Winters helping out Montgomery. That time he reversed the role.
Here is Douglas. He led the Big Ten in assists and steals.
Oklahoma back to man-to-man.
Tough, as you mentioned, a real mismatch in there physically. Here's Altenberger. Blocked. And it's going to be goaltending against Tisdale.
I don't know about that one. Wait, that is some kind of block. You've got to be, as a referee, absolutely sure here. Now, let's see this one. I don't know.
It wasn't headed down, was it?
I don't know. I think that was a great block. I think I'd have let it go if I was a ref just for the show.
That's right. 1-point lead now for Oklahoma. Broken up. Douglas, look at Tisdale hustle back, and they get the ball. Tubbs is fouled by Montgomery. That's his second personal.
Wayman Tisdale is really fired up. His concentration level for this game is amazing.
You saw him over on the bench. The rest of his teammates are warming out. He was sitting over there just kind of prancing back and forth. He was ready to play and obviously has been able to start very effectively.
Here's the key so far. Tim McAllister has not been able to get off his shot. Altenberger, an excellent defender, maybe the best defender in the Big Ten.
That's what Lou Henson says.
Now they're trying to set up McAllister for a jumper.
That's Altenberger in his face, though.
Right
That's a tough shot. Kennedy battling hard, and he gets it. Hugh Kennedy. That's 5 points for the sophomore.
What's happening? Winters is concentrating so much on helping out Montgomery on Wayman Tisdale that leaves Kennedy open.
You mentioned what an improvement Kennedy has made physically, and that was shown on that last play.
Here's the 2-3 zone again. Welch left wide open.
He missed that one earlier, but he gets this one. And now all 5 of the starters have scored for Illinois, and it's a 1-point lead for Oklahoma.
Tubbs has got to take that shot.
They're not going to let him have it, too, aren't they? They dropped off of... Here's Kennedy. Right in the face was Winters, and he banked it in.
Efren Winters just turned around and smiled because that wasn't designed to be a bank shot. That was pretty good defense.
Kennedy already was 7 points. He's only averaging a little over 8 per game.
See how Oklahoma just changes their defense. Man-to-man one time, then back to the zone.
Tisdale lays off, but Montgomery had a flat shot that time. McAllister gets it off to Tubbs. Tubbs played at Lon Morris Junior College. Same junior college his daddy played in. McAllister, he wants to take the shot. He forced that one.
He thought he'd draw a foul.
Rebound by Winters again to Douglas. Douglas out of Quincy, Illinois. Outstanding high school background. Welch, he has a hot hand. He gives off instead to Winters. And we're going to have a foul on Anthony Bowie.
Bowie got a piece. Here's that incredible block. Altenberger going ahead and beating McAllister on the inside. Tisdale times it perfectly. Goes on up there. And in my opinion, that was on the way up, Gary. I think that was a great block by Wayman Tisdale.
I thought you had a good point. You got to let him have it. It was so athletic.
Well, as a referee, you're supposed to be absolutely sure that it was goaltending, not the reverse. So, therefore, there's no way you could be absolutely sure that one was on the way down.
Montgomery leaves the game. Tom Schaefer, number 11, has checked in. He's a 6'7" sophomore. Winters at the line after fouling by Bowie. Winters shooting 69% from the stripe. He was a preseason All-American pick out of King High School in Chicago.
You know, when I look at Efren Winters, it's amazing. His idol in high school was Teddy Grubbs, who was destined to be a superstar at DePaul. Had all types of difficulties, and of course has never come back to be the player that he could have been.
I remember Ray Meyer talking about what a waste that was for Grubbs. That as they recruited him out of high school, they thought he was in the same class as Terry Cummings.
Well, maybe even a little bit higher. His first game of his career was against UCLA and Pauley, and he was absolutely phenomenal.
Winters now makes it 13-11, Oklahoma. 12:53 left in the first half. Here's Tubbs again. They drop off of him. He's got to take it.
That's a smart move. coach's sons, usually pretty sharp basketball players mentally, and in that case, Tommy took exactly the shot that he was given.
He's the only true point guard they have right now that understands the offense, and the only seniors I mentioned earlier. Here is Douglas. He got by Tubbs, so he gets it up at the other end.
And that's what you got to like about Douglas. He recognizes the weakness in the defense on the other end and takes advantage of it himself.
David Johnson, 55 now in the Oklahoma lineup, 6'8", 200 and almost 250 pounds. He's inside with Schaefer. That's a mismatch physically. Rebound by Pomeroy by Tisdale. Here's a rebound by Johnson, and he's fouled by Welch.
Wayman Tisdale on that turnaround jumper just cleaned everybody out with his elbow and was able to get that shot off. If he gets many of those today, look for him to score. But watch how he moves everybody with his right arm. Gets them out of the way, then clears his opening. Excellent play, and a good play by Johnson. You remember, Gary had the big game against Syracuse last year on national television.
He had a little weight trouble. They were upset. He came in at 250 pounds. They say he weighs 238, but I think they're giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Could be. We watched him in that drill. There's Tommy Tubbs sitting down. We watched him in that drill yesterday where they throw that long baseball pass. They say he was a baseball pitcher, and I've never seen a guy throw a basketball with a hop on it the way he can.
Little curveball. Johnson out of Wyandotte in Kansas City. As you saw Tubbs a moment ago sit down, Sean Clark, number 24, has come in for him, and there's your score.
Now, you notice they put Bowie over on Douglas, a much better matchup, and Clark, although he doesn't have the size, is a great leaper.
See Oklahoma good on the offensive board for second chance points. Montgomery, Tisdale played excellent defense, and Johnson to the rebound. And he's going to be called for traveling. He thought he was pushed on the play.
Well, he was pushed by his own teammate. That wouldn't make any difference. He did drag the leg.
Timeout, 11:55, first half. Oklahoma, who's led it all the way with a three-point advantage.
Honda invented three-wheelers so families could have more fun together in the wintertime or any time of year. If you want your family to have more fun this winter, see the world's most complete line of three-wheelers. They're at your Honda dealer.
How far is our Honda dealer, Daddy?
Just keep walking.
The heat-resistant material in this cauterizing scalpel helps surgeons perform virtually bloodless operations. This portable seismic unit helps explore for oil in places too hard to reach before. This world-class hotel and marina, Fort Lauderdale's Pier 66, is known for its impeccable service. What do they all have in common? Phillips Petroleum's commitment to excellence. That's performance. From Phillips Petroleum, you'll find performance in everything we do.
Door openers. Ralph bought old-fashioned chain drive, but Herb got Genie Track Drive, the chainless opener. Herb's lucky. Track Drive really is the easiest to install and never needs grease or adjusting. Buy Track Drive and get a little help from me, or buy Chain Drive and go it alone. Track Drive, the easiest to install. Only Genie has it.
Available at participating True Value hardware stores.
Pat O'Brien in New York will get you back to the game in a moment. Alabama has now upset Auburn just a short time ago, 17-15. The Tigers missed a 42-yard field goal with 14 seconds left in the contest. And with that miss, LSU now goes to the Sugar Bowl against Nebraska New Year's Day night. Let's go back to Gary.
Well, right down to the final week of the season, Billy, we still have upsets in college football.
I told you that football doesn't bounce properly.
Well, they kind of stabbed some wounds for Ray Perkins. First losing year they've had in 26 years. Billy Tubbs lining things now for Oklahoma, who leads at 16-13. 11:52 left until half.
That's a little out of his range.
And inside Winters, here he goes again.
Didn't have a handle on the ball.
Oh, who's that going to go to? I don't know. I guess this man, but it could have been Douglas. He was up there, too.
Efren Winters just didn't have the ball in his hand. It kind of got away from him on those two attempts.
1 point lead now for Oklahoma.
Notice Winters is playing Tisdale now. Montgomery is over on Johnson.
That's David Johnson. You mentioned he just scored. That last basket was given to Welch. There were 3 men up on the play. Back to a 3-point advantage now for the Sooners.
Bowie and Douglas, a pretty good matchup in Oklahoma's favor there. Let's see what Sean Clark can do with Auburn.
Bowie has about 3 inches on Douglas as opposed to Tubbs, who gave away 3. Here is Winters. Rebound by Tisdale, and he's hammered by Welch from behind. Near the conclusion of today's CBS Sports NCAA basketball broadcast, Billy Packer and I will be selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team, and Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. That was the third foul on Welch. So Welch in some foul difficulty with still almost 11 minutes left in the first half.
Gary, in another couple of games, Illinois will get Norman back, a fellow who transferred in here and hasn't been able to play. There's that patented turnaround jumper. That'll make him even deeper on the front line. But right now, Lou Henson's got to worry a little bit about foul trouble.
Talking about Ken Norman. Tisdale with 6 points, a 5-point lead now for Oklahoma.
Told you this game would be a little different than Springfield, huh?
Well, Billy Tubbs said we were embarrassed. We're a better team than that indication in Springfield, Massachusetts. Altenberger, they're picking him up a long ways on the floor now.
Well, Clark has got some quickness on Altenberger, and Bowie's got the size to go with Douglas.
Douglas tries to think him up, does not do it.
Yep, good
rebound. Nice job by Montgomery. Having to go.
Great shot. How often George Montgomery comes up with a big play?
Big George, strong, and he is the enforcer inside for that Illini team.
Nice
play. Nice play. Rebound, however, Montgomery batted away. You better hang on inside. Who's got it? Schaefer. The Douglas.
Clark can jump. Clark can jump. Clark was putting on a dunking display yesterday. He can get up as well as any 6'2" player in the country. You could see this one coming. Watch Clark come up from behind. He can really sky.
He got the hand or he would have gotten away with it. He has been measured, Billy, at 11 feet 9 inches from a jump, and that's getting up.
When you're 6'2", going up 11'9" on the board, the basket is 10 feet, so that gives you an idea. Almost 2 feet above the board is what he can reach.
Douglas makes it 20-18. He has 5 points in the game. Douglas coming in here and hit only 4 of 10 free throws.
The reason Douglas is wide open is that really there aren't any true guards in the ball game for Oklahoma now. They're going to the board, so Illinois ought to be able to fast break themselves.
There's Bowie. Rebound Montgomery.
And you notice Altenberger's getting out on the break. Illinois could fast break against this Oklahoma team right now.
Chance to take the lead for the Fighting Illini, who trail by 1. To Altenberger, John Clark up above him, he got it anyway.
Excellent cut.
Altenberger last year had to play the forward spot. He physically got beaten up. Now at the guard, he's back home.
Well, he does a good job at any position. He's so versatile.
21-20, the first lead for Illinois. Johnson, he's been called for travel. He is pleading his case. 5 team fouls. One of the outstanding freshmen coming in this year probably won't be playing this year, Billy.
Well, it's a shame Kevin Walsh didn't get into the game last week against Indiana. That knee's really bothering him. We understand now he's going to go under surgery December the 11th.
He had 81 points in the game last year in high school.
Leading high school scorer in the nation. There's the lob. Not a good pass.
Intended for Schaefer. Bowie, and Douglas almost has the steal.
Should be a lob here.
Beautiful pass by Bowie to John Clark.
Altenberger didn't realize that Clark was behind him. That was an excellent pass.
Bowie is the guy they want to play the point spot. If he can come through there, they're set.
Well, they really are. Bowie's the first junior college player that Kentucky ever tried to recruit. Right behind Walter Berry to have been the top junior college player in the country.
There's Sean Clark. He tried to draw the foul. Instead, he is called for the foul, his second.
I thought that was a pretty good play by Clark.
Sean Clark, he's out of the Maryland area.
And Billy Tubbs thought it was a good play, too.
We have a timeout. 8:20 left in the first half. Lou Henson's team trailing by 1, 22-21.
I see you enjoy the finer things in life.
Why, yes.
Then you'll enjoy today's Chevrolet Celebrity Eurosport.
Come on in, get the feel. Enjoyment waits at the wheel as the road comes alive.
special sport suspension, Euro styling, available new multi-port fuel-injected V6 power, Celebrity Euro Sport.
If this is today's Chevrolet,
Enjoy.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy.
Live it.
Precision means putting the best you have in the things you make. And the Black & Decker high-speed rotary tool means precision. It's a great gift from True Value Hardware Stores. Its variable speed transformer puts more power where you need it. And the unit is smaller and stays cooler, so it's easy to use. You can etch, carve, and polish, as well as cut and drill with accuracy and comfort. You'll find the Black & Decker high-speed rotary tool at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
In the world of sight and sound, you lead the rest. Emerson, America loves you best. You kept the holidays bright in June. You gave us memories of the moon. Winter weekends and summer afternoons that we could wish upon. America turns on Emerson, 'cause Emerson turns America on.
Emerson products that turn America on at fine stores everywhere.
With all 5 teams in the NFC East still in contention, the race for the playoffs is wide open. See the Cowboys against the Eagles among the regional games tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Week 14 of the NFL, and Dallas and the Giants, they got to keep pace with those Redskins who won on Thursday night.
They were ahead 31-0. How about that? Had to hang on.
Bill Walsh of the 49ers and their club rolling very, very effectively. Of course, Bill Walsh is a good friend of Mike White, the Illinois coach here.
I think Dallas like to have that Buffalo game back.
22-21 our score here. Oklahoma with the lead. 8:17 left in the first half.
Now Weisinger in the ballgame. A little bit more quickness. Oklahoma goes back into the zone.
Tony Weisinger, number 10. He's a sophomore out of Peoria. Another Peoria guy. Altenberger misses the shot. Here comes Bowie.
I'm really impressed with Bowie. Handles the ball well. Has good patience on the floor.
His coach now on the Oklahoma staff, Jim Kerwin. Seminole, they had an outstanding team last year. Here is Hugh Kennedy. Kennedy with 9 points. 24-21, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma showing that they're more than Wayman Tisdale. And that's what's necessary. You know, no matter how good you are as an individual, you've got to have some teammates that can keep some things open for you.
Weisinger trying to distribute it, gets it inside to Montgomery, air ball, rebound, Kennedy. I can't get over how much more aggressive he is. Off it comes to Sean Clark.
Johnson, good catch.
And that was partially tipped, but a win in anyway. Montgomery had a piece of it.
That's an excellent catch.
Georgetown, that's our game next week with UNLV from the Capitol Center.
There's that 2-3 zone again. Montgomery coming right across the front, getting the ball very easily. You ought to be able to score in there. There's Efren Winters. That's his spot.
And that's good with Tisdale up in his face. Rebound cleared by Bowie. Bowie to Clark. And Clark, who last year had 37 points in a game against Arizona State, dead center with that one.
When you look at Clark's stats, he had some great ball games in heavy double figures. When he gets playing time, he can do it.
28-21. Oklahoma now by 7.
You know, a decent mechanic doesn't cut his teeth on rigs like that. I started out on pickups, then graduated to these babies. Now we got this place with 18-wheelers stopping in on the way to both coasts. Because the trucker appreciates a quality job at a fair price. And so do I. That's why I like Meisterbrau. Oh, I could pay more for beer now, but this has full-bodied taste at a nice, easy price. Hey, fellas, let's lock them up for the night.
Meisterbrau, big taste, without the big price.
I'm wanted. What for, Sheriff? I'm just a 49er, looking for a little gold.
You'll see. Shave off that beard. Not with good news. Not with Bic. The Schick disposable beats them both. Schick beats good news for sharpness.
Schick is sharper?
Yep, and Schick beats Bic for overall performance. And only Schick has this sliding safety cap.
Great shave. Now, why am I wanted?
To take me to the dance tonight, Joe Montana. Try the Schick disposable.
It beats them both.
Dan, something for your desk.
Vice President?
You earned it.
Today, Chevrolet has something for you, too. Discover Caprice Classic.
Now it's here, your reward. Just lean back, it's all yours.
Caprice, now even better with electronic fuel injection standard, plus traditional full-size comfort and prestige you've earned.
So this is today's Chevrolet.
You've earned it.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
Sunday, Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, together for the holidays in their extraordinary first special with new songs by Dolly. Kenny and Dolly, A Christmas to Remember.
Gary Bender along with Billy Packer at halftime. We'll go back to New York. Pat O'Brien with the highlights, scores and highlights of football. Packers picks, the new players of influence in college football.
How about basketball?
I'm sorry, basketball and the lap check tournament. The lap check tournament, UCLA and DePaul, I understand. DePaul off to a good start today.
Well, an outstanding team. UCLA really having problems. They got beat by Santa Barbara. Good fast break.
And that will be Montgomery. It'll count, and he's been fouled.
Like a freight train coming down on that side. Good feed on the break. That's an excellent pass by Douglas. A good two-handed chest pass. Look at where he hits him. Absolutely perfect spot. Montgomery concentrates, lays it up. Clark with a foul.
That's his third. Sean Clark commits his third. Tommy Tubbs will be coming back in. The arms on Montgomery are huge, not only in size but in length. He has the longest arms for a 6'9" player. He's probably equivalent to someone 6'11" for those long arms. Look at him.
You know, Montgomery's a guy, too, that from Chicago was not that highly recruited. He was the second team all-public league. Didn't have sensational stats. Has really done a solid job as a worker in college, made himself better every year.
Indiana, after losing last week to Louisville, 90-73.
Tisdale jumper.
That's automatic. You got the ball in that deep.
His body takes up so much room, and then that great quickness.
And the NIT champions, Michigan, defeating Georgia. This club lost some players to the pros, but looks like it'll be tough anyway. Montgomery again. Winters tries to follow. Schaefer does.
Good left-handed tip.
30-26, Oklahoma.
You notice McAllister, Tim McAllister, has not been back in the game. Only played a couple of minutes there.
And he may be giving him difficulty. David Johnson gets a roll.
I talked to Johnson before the game, said let's have another game like you had against Syracuse last year, and it looks like he's doing it.
He's a bull-like player inside. He just takes up the room. Started the year out with a couple of severe ankle sprains. Got overweight, but starting to be more and more of a factor for him. Montgomery kicked it out. Schaefer with a nice catch, and he got it in.
That was a tough pass to make when a teammate is so close to you to be able to hang on. Good job by Schaefer.
32-28 OU. 5:20 left, and Kennedy throws it away.
Bowie just was breaking into the basket. Kennedy didn't hang on to the ball.
Pretty even in the middle now. Last game, Tisdale had 19 points, Montgomery 17, but Montgomery was the MVP in that tournament. He also had 10 rebounds.
Notice that Oklahoma going to a lot more zone with Tubbs in the game. They don't like to caught in this half.
Winters, for a guy that hasn't been shooting well, those kind of shots get your confidence back.
Yep, even a little smile on his face, which you don't see often.
5 points from Ephraim, 2-point lead for Oklahoma.
Notice that Winters is playing on Tisdale now.
Tommy Tubbs, lead pass to Tisdale. Rebound Schaefer, and look at Schaefer get up on the board. 6'7".
This Illinois team has 2 West German imports sitting on the bench that are over 7 feet, too, that'll probably redshirt this year. So what size on this club for the airport lobbies?
Here's Schaefer. Montgomery, and Tisdale has fouled it.
I think it's going to be Kennedy. Yeah, reach in.
That will be Kennedy's first personal foul. 16 fouls against Oklahoma. Now we had an interesting development Tuesday. We had a game canceled, Billy.
Well, see, this was one of the craziest things I've ever heard of in basketball. A game canceled because of a traffic jam. LIU and Fordham played the next night, and Fordham won, but they got caught on that Brooklyn-Queens Expressway and never did get to the game. That's got to be a basketball first.
What were they, though? An hour and a half late, and they finally just gave up on him.
They say they got there about 9:15 and started out from LIU, which is over in Brooklyn, at about 3 in the afternoon.
They tried to backdoor to Montgomery. Doesn't work. Tubbs at the 4:18 mark, his team up by 2.
Let's see if McAllister, he's up against Altenberger again. He hadn't been able to get off a decent shot.
McAllister is the man who was hurt late in the stretch drive last year. Had the knee trouble this year. They need him. Tisdale all over.
Had to be a foul. Had to be a foul.
Instead, it's a foul on Tisdale.
Now, Wayman just so aggressive, but he's getting chopped pretty well down inside. Now, you notice Montgomery comes over to help. There's the foul. There's another foul. Nothing called. And now Wayman goes over the back with a dumb foul of his own.
You know, Billy Tupps told me that he feels that Tisdale is the most abused player in the game, that he gets beaten up on more than any player in the game today. You agree with that?
Well, anybody that's that aggressive inside is going to get hit around a little bit. But the point was, there's no question he got fouled in that last play.
6 points now with 7 rebounds for Ephraim Winters.
What Wayman may have to do, Gary, is to start to fake a little bit. He's so strong that when you foul him, you still don't move him out of the way. When he feels contact every once in a while, maybe he ought to just go ahead and fake it a little bit.
Coming into the game now will be Scott Mintz, 6'10" junior. And Montgomery will get a breather.
That bench is long and deep with size, isn't it?
Boy, it is. And you mentioned those 2 7-footers from West Germany. Olaf Flop is one of them, the brother of Uwe, who's playing at Indiana. Kuyua is the other guy, Jens Kuyua.
And Jens Kuyua is a guy that I think is going to be an outstanding player. He's 7 foot, about 245. He's got good hands.
Look at this. It's completely reversed from that first game. It was the other way around at Springfield, Mass, and we're all even at 32. The first tie of this game.
Mintz is really laying off Johnson. Now, Johnson ought to try to get open. Mintz is keeping his eye out, trying to help Winters on Tisdale, which means Johnson is wide open.
Oklahoma showing some patience now. Tisdale told him to kick it around, move it to the other side.
We are using the shot clock. We're down to 13.
We have a 45-second shot clock. Both conferences recognize that rule. And a foul on Mintz.
Now, that's a good move by Oklahoma to get that ball to Johnson. Mintz is not even playing him. He's so concerned with Tisdale. And obviously, if you were sitting on the bench watching the game, you'd have to be concerned there. But Johnson can score in this situation.
Also of its significance, they're in the 1-1 now. That put them over. And so the 1-1 now for David Johnson. 3:21 left. First half of play. 8 points now for David Johnson. Johnson comes out of Wyandotte in Kansas City. That produced the guys like Lucius Allen. There is Calvin Thompson playing at Kansas now. This guy was the Kansas High School Player of the Year his senior year. Larry Drew, remember who played at Missouri?
Shot 46% last year from the foul line, but they look pretty good.
2-point lead now for the Sooners.
2-3 zone back in there.
And from Winters, they gave him the corner, and Bowie controlled it off to Tisdale. Bowie gets up.
A nice rebound by Bowie. Very versatile player.
Last year, he averaged 7 rebounds and 18.5 points for Seminole Junior College. Behind Walter Berry, a man that we'll be talking about at halftime, he was considered the second-best JC player in the country.
There's Tisdale trying to get position. Now, what Johnson is doing is just standing still. He's got to realize when Mintz goes over to help out on Tisdale, Johnson has got to break to the basketball. Again, Oklahoma trying to use up some clock. Probably the reason for this is they don't want to get any more foul difficulty.
You see the time left in the first half. Schaefer, first to Douglas. Schaefer, he almost lost it, but got it to Douglas.
Boy, Schaefer has made great catches and saved what could have been a turnover into a good play.
Schaefer is kind of an unsung player here. You don't hear a lot about him. He's their first man off the bench. It's even again.
And a slow-down tempo is not Oklahoma's game. They're forced to do this a little bit because of foul problem.
1:57, the clock rolling. The first half of the other game, it was a 41-30 lead by Illinois. So Oklahoma definitely in better shape this time around.
Oh, not a good pass.
That was Winters on the deflection.
Excellent defense by Winters.
8 turnovers now against Oklahoma.
Douglas can handle that ball for a man his size.
Schaefer. Boy, Schaefer's come off the bench and he's exploded for Illinois.
That's not unusual. He's just a very solid ball player.
36-34, the lead for Illinois. Second time they've led in this game.
Down to a minute and 15 seconds. I'm surprised Billy Tupps is doing this.
You're exactly right, though. This just isn't the personality of Oklahoma. They want to get you in a full-court game. Less than a minute. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Johnson double pumped it. Oh, what a play by the 250-pounder.
He's the man I think can score right now, Gary. I don't believe Menz can handle him because he's concentrated so much on where Tisdale is, and Johnson took advantage of it.
36 all, backdoor winner.
Right behind the zone. Douglas and Winters do that as well as any combination in the country.
38-36.
Now they ought to hold for the last shot. Shot clock will be off. It's down to 24 seconds.
Two of the premier teams in the country, and we've seen some athleticism in this first half.
Down to 11.
Douglas reaching in. Bowie saves it. Gonna have to hurry. Steele. Scott Menz. He's gonna have to hurry. He missed it, and no foul. At the other end, and that's the way it's gonna end. And Menz is hot. He thought he was fouled.
He had a chance to come up with a big play.
So, at the halfway mark of this game, Lou Henson's Illini leading 38-36. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station.
Nevada, Las Vegas, one of the best in the West, will come east for a showdown with defending national champion Georgetown. NCAA basketball next Saturday on CBS Sports.
This is CBS. You've been hearing a lot about Funk's new breed hybrids.
They're better, all right, with performance you can bank on.
Funk's G does have the hybrids you can depend on, and they're making a move with the new G4522. Here's a new breed hybrid that stands tough and yields big. Funk's G4522. See these dealers today. Levi Yoder, Lovington. Babe Adkins, Catlin. Chris Schroeder, Tolono. Richard Brown, Hammond.
Barnaby Jones, weekday afternoons at 3 here on Channel 3.
He's not gonna come. He's gonna come. He's not gonna come.
Kids are so trusting. They count on their parents for love and attention.
Go play. I said he's gonna come. He'll be here. He's not gonna come. Let's go. Yeah, come on. Let's go play ball. He's gonna be here. He's not gonna come.
If you're a parent living apart from your children, they still need you and your financial support. Make your child support payments promptly. And remember, it's the law. Kids are worth every penny.
WCIA Champaign, W49AA Springfield.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien along with Eric Parsegan. This is the college football report, but let's go to the basketball scoreboard first because Georgia continues to dominate its opponents. It beat Southern Connecticut today, Georgetown, 80-46. Pat Ewing only played 15 minutes, but he had 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 block shots for Georgetown. UCLA and DePaul, it is 70-49. Walt Hazzard's off to a bad start there in the second half. Indiana, 90 over Ohio, 90-73. Steve Alford gave Indiana its first victory of the season with his 23 points. Iowa center Greg Stokes put in 35 points as Iowa defeated George Mason 111-82. Kansas and Detroit, it is now 53-42 in the second half. Kansas, Larry Brown and the Jayhawks leading Detroit there. Michigan defeated Georgia 63-57. Wolverine center Roy Tarpley had 23 points for Michigan. And Temple and Villanova, this is in the second half. It is 67-65. Temple down by 2. You know, last night here in New York, St. John's opened its season amid high expectations with the return of All-America Chris Mullen and the debut of junior college standout Walter Berry. They were arriving in all kinds of ways for last night's Lapchick tournament game between Lafayette and St. John's. The Redmen capitalized on 25 Lafayette turnovers led by Olympic hero Chris Mullen. And St. John's coach Lou Carnesecca is definitely looking forward to this season, especially with the arrival of this man, Walter Berry, who had 15 points and 12 rebounds in his long-awaited debut. And the fans at Alumni Hall got their money's worth as St. John's rolled 93-47, and the dynamic combination of Mullen and Berry is off to an excellent start.
Anytime you get to play with a guy like Walter, you know, it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and I got the whole year to play with him, so we just want to keep on getting better every night.
Yeah, it's great playing with Chris, and he's just doing a good job, and all I want to do is just help him out.
He's going to be some player. Let's put our other hat now and go to the college football scoreboard. Boston College and Holy Cross, Doug Flutie's final regular season game, 45-10. In Ara-Parsigan, the Eagle fans got their money's worth today as Boston College and Holy Cross played to a 45-10 final.
Right, and it hasn't all been a Flutie show as Troy Stafford, number 23 right there, takes the ball on a pass from Flutie and scores a touchdown. But watch here now as Flutie gives the ball to Troy, or I should say there's Jack Bicknell, and he's done a remarkable job. This time Flutie gives the ball to Troy Stafford. Watch him run. It has not been an all Flutie show, although he's been sensational. But look at Troy Stafford, absolutely does a great job.
And the next play here is an all Flutie show as Flutie goes to brother Darren Flutie for a 30-yard pass. And Doug Flutie.
I dreamed of it being this way, but I was never sure it was going to be a reality, and things have just seemed to fall into place. They really have for me, and I'm hoping, you know, tonight can be a happy night for me, a good night for us, and then hopefully January 1st in Dallas will be a great night for us.
And you and I will be there at the Cotton Bowl. I was saying he's done it all year for them. He picked up another trophy today, besides the Heisman tonight, the Amelia Trophy as the MVP in that game. Auburn, Alabama. This game is going to be controversial tomorrow for Pat Dye because it was 17-15. Alabama upsets Auburn. Auburn blew 2 chances to win this contest with 4 minutes left. Auburn had a 4th and goal at the Bama half-yard line. The Tigers went for a touchdown and were stopped. Then with 14 seconds left, they missed a field goal. And Ara-Parsigan, why did they do this? Why did they not go?
Well, what they wound up doing is they put LSU in the Sugar Bowl, and if Pat Dye doesn't know now that he made a mistake, he'll know about it in the morning papers.
You'll read about it tomorrow. Let's look at the Sugar Bowl. Thank you. The Sugar Bowl now is Nebraska and LSU, a rematch of the 1983 Orange Bowl, by the way, but won by Nebraska. Let's go to another score here now as Tennessee and Vanderbilt. They played to a 29-13 final. Johnny Jones had 19 carries, 111 yards, and 1 touchdown. Tennessee and Maryland on the Sun Bowl December 22nd on CBS. Georgia Tech and Georgia, 35-16 in the 4th quarter now. This will be, if they hold on, Tech's first win over Georgia since 1977, and you are watching the College Football Report here on CBS.
Over the years, a lot of small businesses have developed their own system.
$1,000. Contact Busey Bank in Urbana.
The Lou Henson Show, Sunday morning at 11.
Today's game between the Oklahoma Sooners and the Illinois Fighting Illini is sponsored by Chevrolet, who invite you to see, drive, and live today's Chevrolet. Light beer from Miller, everything you've always wanted in a beer, and less. And by Zenith Advanced System 3, the smart sets. The quality goes in before the name goes on.
Halftime, Illinois over Oklahoma. Illinois was trailing early in the game, 28-21, when Oklahoma ran off 8 unanswered points. But Billy made an interesting point. Oklahoma kind of went away from their personality.
Well, they really did. I wonder if Billy Tubbs was worried about foul problems. He had Wayman with 2 fouls on him, and he wasn't getting the play out of him that he wanted to. Maybe he slowed the pace down just so he wouldn't get into further difficulty.
In that first half, it was Oklahoma by far the better of the two as far as field goal percentage is concerned, 62-42. But what's really misleading about that is the fact that Illinois came back because of the turnovers that Oklahoma committed.
9 turnovers for Oklahoma. What's staggering is 9-2 in turnovers. Last time these two played, the stats were exactly the opposite. You had Oklahoma shooting 36%. Now they're shooting 61, and you had Illinois shooting 63, and now they're shooting 42. Bench scoring, amazing the job that Johnson has done coming off the bench. He's had 11 points himself, and I think that Illinois, really their comeback was a surge coming off the bench by Schaefer. He did a great job coming off.
Yes, he did, and Illinois on 4 Oklahoma turnovers in 5 possessions made that comeback. And right Right now, they lead it by 2 as Oklahoma will inbounds the ball as we start the second half of play.
And Schaefer with Anthony Welch with his 3 fouls. Schaefer's going to start the second half.
Schaefer, who played so well, he was awarded that as now the shot taken by Kennedy. There's Johnson who's starting the second half. That'll be off of Illinois. Johnson is so big in there, takes up so much room. DePaul beating UCLA. Joey Meyer off to a good start.
Now, had a close call the other night, but Joey wins that game. In name, beating UCLA is always a good win, but Walt Hazzard has a long way to go, Gary, to bring that program back.
We'll have DePaul in 2 weeks on CBS against Georgetown.
Might be 1-2 in the nation by that time.
38-36 as we start the second half. Illinois with the lead. Hugh Kennedy brings it out to Bowie.
And Illinois playing his zone. You don't see that often.
There's Tisdale broken up, and he's been fouled.
Now there again, to show you what I said in the first half about Wayman, he is so strong. He had Douglas pulling on his arm and still was able to go up in the air with the ball.
Checking that Oklahoma lineup, they have Clark, Bowie, David Johnson, Tisdale, and Kennedy. So 2 different starters in the second half for Billy Tubbs. And Schaefer, as we mentioned, starting the only change for Illinois from the start of the game.
Tim McAllister not in that lineup, and that's the guy Oklahoma really needs to be explosive from the outside of the floor.
Well, Tubbs told us he thought he'd be ready maybe by January, 100%. Johnson, Montgomery batted away by Kennedy. Look at Wayman Tisdale hustle.
A good job by Kennedy to keep that ball alive. Johnson again, they're putting so much pressure on watching Tisdale that Johnson's open to score.
Oklahoma looking to tie the game. Clark looking into the big All-American. Shoot Kennedy. Rebound, Johnson. He's hammered.
Getting inside position. Now, one of the things that Illinois is so good at in their man-to-man defense, they block out very well, Gary. They just don't give you any second shots. In the zone, they're not blocking out as well, and Oklahoma's going up there on the inside position and getting those offensive rebounds.
Montgomery committing the foul. That's his 3rd, so both he and Welch now have 3 fouls for the Fighting Illini.
As an example, so far this year, Illinois has held their opponents to just 38% shooting from the floor and out-rebounding their opponents by 8.
The only problem is their shooting has not been that effective. There's Johnson. He cuts it to 1. 38-37. He has 12 points in the game.
That's why most top coaches believe you win with defense. You're solid on defense every day. Your offense can go up and down.
Tubbs is saying he feels that the shooting's down throughout the country in the early going. Not just this team in Illinois, but other clubs as he looks around at the box scores. Altenberger, why would that be, Billy? Better defense just early?
Defense usually starts the season ahead of the offense. Most coaches spend October 15th on for a couple of weeks just working on defense. It'll balance out. Another thing, people aren't letting you get any easy shots anymore on the break.
There's a blocking foul.
That's number 3 on Tisdale.
Tisdale with his 3rd. Now he fouled out of the other game with about 2.5 minutes left. So he has 3. Welch has 3, as does Montgomery.
And Wayman looks down at Billy Tubbs and says, I'll be all right. I'm not going to get any more foul trouble.
Also 3 fouls is Sean Clark, and there's Clark with the ball.
Tisdale ripped that right out of Montgomery's hand.
38-37. Oklahoma can take the lead. Tisdale hammered, or should say Johnson. Rebound by Tisdale. That's true. Look at Montgomery get up, but he can't control it. It'll be Oklahoma's basketball.
Tisdale doesn't miss many in that tight.
Oh, George Raveling's crew, 111 points.
George Raveling. Temple Villanova, boy, that is a traditional rivalry in the Big Five. That's one of the great ones.
Ed Pinckney back for his senior year for Coach Massimino.
And the 2 McLeans, not related, but both can play.
Again, Oklahoma wanting to take the lead. Johnson, triple team, gets it out to Bowie.
Downtown.
Bowie, you just know he's going to get better and better. Coming out of the junior college ranks, he's had some adjustments to make.
He's about as patient a junior college player as I've seen.
Baseline, Montgomery intimidated by Tisdale and rebounded by Johnson.
Tisdale can't afford to go after anybody down there.
And there's going to be a traveling call on Kennedy. Oklahoma by 1, 39-38, 10 turnovers against the Sooners.
You notice this is the pace of the game, though, that Oklahoma likes. If they didn't have Tisdale in the foul trouble, I'm sure they'd want to continue to run.
For the first time, a freshman, Scott Hafner, number 4, will check in. He's an excellent shooter. They want his outside perimeter shooting. He comes into the game. There he is. He's out of Noblesville into Illinois, which is
on the border of the Indiana-Illinois line.
He's up against a good athlete in Clark, so he better get rid of that ball. Push off by Johnson, not called.
And over the block was Schaefer. It's going to be off of Oklahoma.
Montgomery wanting to get some attention to that official. He got pushed off completely on that shot.
Douglas will inbounds to Schaefer. This half, Oklahoma's 1 of 6, and Illinois is 0 for 3, and there's the first one of the second half.
Bruce Douglas said up in Alaska that Illinois just kind of got a little shell-shocked on their shooting. Didn't have the confidence.
Kennedy on the move.
Should count.
Oh, not. They waved it off. It's a charge.
Billy Tubbs is going to start to get out of that coaching box soon. Kennedy goes. Kennedy takes it up, releases the ball, and hits almost simultaneously. Technically speaking, did the contact take place before the ball was released?
On Kennedy, his second foul. That goes as a turnover. And here is Bowie trying to draw a foul on Schaefer. He's decked but no whistle.
Incidental contact, no advantage game.
The Illini by 1. Here is Hafner kicking it out to Douglas. 16:40 left in the game.
What he's there for.
Yep. Tisdale is there instead, though. 10 rebounds for the All-American.
Raymond Tisdale led the Olympic team in rebounding.
Into David Johnson, and he's fouled. This will be Montgomery, and that would be his fourth.
Now, Lou Henson's got some decisions to make, and he's going to come in with Mentz. Probably in a little better shape, though, to make the substitutions than Billy Tubbs is in regard to that front line.
Scott Mentz out of Kankakee, Illinois. He was last year a sophomore backup. Runs very well up and down the floor, but they want Big George instead, but he'll have to sit down with 4. Also coming in now for the first time, substitution, Altenberger for Hafner. Hafner got that one crack at it, and they got him out of there.
Well, that was a pretty tough assignment, and I'm sure that was just an experience deal there.
Tisdale,
good job by Winters defensively.
Johnson, a full inside. Here's Altenberger.
Nothing easy inside, is it, Gary?
Boy, they haven't scored much in this second half. It was 38-36 at half, and it's 40-39. We played almost 4 minutes. Altenberger, Schaefer.
Same deal. Now, what's he going to call?
They're going to wave it off.
All fair and love and war. That's exactly the same call that was made on the other end of the court. Technically, the referee is on the money on both of them. You'll see that the ball has not been released before the contact is made. There's the contact, there's the release. Referee makes an excellent call.
Billy, you don't mind it when they're consistent.
Well, exactly. If you're sitting on one end of the court that was just the same referee made the exact same call both ways.
40-39, Illinois, now with 16 minutes left in the game. Entirely different game than they had in the Tip-Off Classic. Bowie again, very cool, off to Tisdale.
Tisdale got hit on the arm again, that time by Mentz.
But Kennedy's there.
Kennedy's having a game.
Yes, he is, and Oklahoma has the lead. 11 points for Kennedy.
Raymond Tisdale getting a little disgusted running down the court looking at the referees. He's been hit on just about every other shot.
Here's Schaefer into Mentz. Lean over Johnson. Schaefer with a follow, and he is doing yeoman work off the bench.
Been the savior every time that the ball had a chance to go the other way. He came up with 2 great catches in the first half, made some key baskets here.
42-41. This is a different Oklahoma team, Billy, and now as Kennedy called for traveling, I think the intensity is so much more evident. We watched the tapes of that first game. It wasn't there.
What's going to be like in March with these two teams?
Illinois by 1.
Where are you hurting the most, Jimmy?
Name it. Better straighten up.
Yeah, we don't want to disappoint your fans.
No.
Hey, Jimmy, good run.
You had him right from the gate.
Your best deserves the best.
Two Bud Lights.
The less filling light beer with a first name and taste.
Hey, Jimmy!
Right.
Bud Light.
This electronic timer will show how fast Chloraseptic can relieve sore throat pain.
My throat's really red, I'm sure, and it has a raw feeling to it.
Will you try Chloraseptic?
Yes.
Now watch the timer.
Oh, it numbs it. It's fantastic. It's like somebody's coated it with a medication.
With doctor-recommended Chloraseptic, relief is just seconds away.
Now, that's a beautiful car.
Thanks. I just washed it.
Well, now you can clean the engine.
Let's not get carried away.
No, I mean, now Union 76 gasolines have an improved additive that actually helps clean your carburetor better.
You're kidding. The gas does that? Fill it up.
Right. So your engine runs cleaner and performs better.
Incredible. At last, a weapon against crime in the streets. Crud under the hood. Manifold parasites.
Let's not get carried away here.
Sorry.
Fill her up with spirit.
Or a cleaner running engine.
The spirit of 76.
When the Jets left Shea Stadium for the Meadowlands, they thought it would be home sweet home. But instead, they found themselves in the land of the Giants. I'll have that story tomorrow on the NFL Today.
Illinois by 1, and Billy, you can see Illinois' field goal percentage other than the Oklahoma game, not really what they'd like to have.
No, it really isn't, and of course you see that UAB game there down in the 30s.
And look what we have in the second half. Illinois down again. What do you figure, 48 to 52%? You got to shoot to win games?
Well, yeah, you ought to be over 50%, particularly in this level of competition. But you're just not getting anything easy in this game, and that's what's tough. Every shot is contested.
Oklahoma's 2 of 9. Illinois 2 of 7 in the second half of the field. Illini by 1. Scott Mintz, Aldenberger. Very intelligent player. 6 points for the junior.
Well, when Mintz moved outside that extra couple of steps, that opened up a good opportunity for an inside offensive rebound.
Sean Clark, who nailed one earlier, comes back and cans this one.
Altenberger got caught in the screen that time.
Sean Clark with 6. Shows you the range he has.
I think Illinois ought to go inside to Mintz a little bit more, see if they can pick up another foul on Tisdale.
Tisdale playing with 3. Montgomery on the bench with 4. Altenberger with Clark in his face. Beautiful play by Bruce Douglas.
Now there's a case of where Illinois will hurt a lot of teams. When you have a backcourt the size of Douglas and Altenberger, you're going to get a lot of offensive tips.
12 points for the all Big Ten guard. 14 minutes left in this second half of play as it's kicked out to Boyd. Tisdale,
again on the arm, he makes it anyway.
Well, he just gets hacked every time. That's 10 points. Tisdale coming in here with an average of 26.3.
Is that his 63rd straight game of his career that he's scored in double figures?
His high is 61. Last year, batted away. Douglas comes up with
another rebound by the guard.
Illini by 1. Mintz broken up by Bowie. Douglas retrieves. Mintz again, and he lost it. It'll be Oklahoma's ball.
I really believe Illinois ought to go inside to Mintz because Tisdale's playing behind him.
One of the players that we want to point out is Steve Mitchell. He was the MVP of that Great Alaska Shootout.
Well, I watched him this morning again for the second time on ESPN and catched him against Auburn. They lost last night against Auburn, but Mitchell is really one of the gifted guards in the country.
He had 24 points in that game. Here's Tisdale, triple team, doesn't help. The basket counts, and he's fouled by Schaefer.
Next week, Gary, we're going to take a look at a number of those other unsung players around the country. Here again, the ball goes inside to Wayman Tisdale, and as you point out, Gary, triple team. He still goes up among the crowd, gets the shot off with an incredible touch that he has.
Tisdale back-to-back the Big 8 player of the year. Schaefer leaves the game. And coming in is Anthony Welch, who got into foul difficulty early. Now coming into the game for the second time and first time in the second half.
We talk about things that people can do for the first time. If Wayman were to stay the 4 years of college at Oklahoma, he'd be the first ever consensus All-American to make it all 4 years.
Only 308 points off of the all-time Big 8 scoring. Clark career-wise. Clark misses this one with Welch. Oh, he hammered that time by Kennedy.
You're not going to get an easy basket against either one of these teams. They've got great athletes and great leapers. There was nothing dirty about that play. Kennedy went up there for the ball. Welch had just come into the game. Watch Kennedy. He's going up to try to make the block. Not of any malicious intent there at all. He tried to make a good defensive play.
Look at Tisdale there. Didn't follow that replay, but he went over to be sure that nothing happened. Shows you the attitude of Tisdale. Welch at the line with 2 free throws.
All the players bending over, grabbing their pants now. They're getting a little tired.
Yet you know that they're in good shape. We watched Illinois run sprints yesterday, and Lou Henson He's unmerciful. He really worked him. You see what he did in that Oklahoma game the first time around. And Welch in this game has 4 points, now with 5.
Well, in the case of Illinois, they're not going to get many days to rest throughout the Big Ten season because there's a lot of clubs in the Big Ten that can play.
We're tied for the 3rd time. Tisdale trying to break the tie. They're getting up. Oh, here's Welch with a rebound.
That's a good job by Welch.
Douglas, John Clark is back. Rebound Bowie. Nice positioning that time by Sean Clark.
Bowie almost turned that ball over, but again, look at how patient this guy is.
Kennedy,
that's a little bit out of his range.
Douglas tips it off to Ephraim Winters. Welch gets away beautifully from Kennedy. Back to Welch.
Oh, no.
Basket will count, but it's going to be a foul on Welch.
Welch was in the air. He had released himself. That's either a no call or a foul on the defense for undercut. Now watch Welch. He makes his move. He's committed to the basket. Clark is not in position when he leaves the floor. Catch him on the way down. Just an excellent pass by Mentz. Now you see Clark is coming over to get in position. He's not there when Welch leaves the floor. That's Welch's 4th foul, though.
Yes, it is, and he and Montgomery both have 4. There's the foul difficulty. Oklahoma with 3 guys with 3. Schaefer's come back into the ball game. Winters, Mentz, Altenberger, and Douglas. That's the 5 now for the Fighting Illini. 49-47 Illinois.
But Tisdale draws the crowd. Every time he touches the ball, somebody on him.
He gets his own rebound and gets it to drop, and again, he's playing with 3 fouls. He's got to be careful.
Wayman picks up fouls, usually the cheap variety, where he goes over somebody's back when he gets frustrated. Now Oklahoma back in the 2-3 zone.
Tied up for the 4th time. 11:42 left in the game. Altenberger, he'll hit those. Rebound Johnson, and Mentz is over his back.
Good block out by Johnson. He takes up a lot of room there. Only about 6'7", but with all that bulk, it's hard to get any room near him.
You mentioned the height. Billy Tubbs feels he's one of the few teams in the country they measure their kids without their shoes. He says that's about an inch difference, and so he feels his height is really probably more legitimate than the others.
I can't think of who the coach was, Gary, but when somebody asked him about that one time, do you measure your kids with or without their shoes on? He said, how many games have you seen them play without their shoes on? So I measured them with their shoes. I thought Billy, one of the great comments by Billy the other day, too, when they asked him about his defense, he said, you know, what might be the best defense today is not to guard people because it's the toughest shot to make when you're wide open.
That's the way he played Tisdale, huh?
Yeah, but I don't see him doing that today.
Nope. Here's Johnson hitting both of them. He has 14 points. We have a timeout. 11:35 left. Oklahoma leads Illinois by 2.
A new idea, like a pebble in a pond, can change the world around it. Technology from a company called TRW puts ideas to work. And when an idea gets going, there's no end to where it can lead. Tomorrow is taking shape at a company called TRW.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
Hold this, will you?
So if you want the less-filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light!
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
Strike.
Feel the lather, the scent is brisk. No one does it quite like this. Coach works as hard as you. Coach works as hard as you. Picks you up and pulls you through. It pulls you through. Coach works as hard as you.
Tomorrow on the NFL Today, Jimmy the Greek will take a look at the Jets, who will find themselves playing the home team, or being the home team, and playing the New York Giants in Giants Stadium, in the land of the Giants. 51-49, Oklahoma with the lead. At halftime, they trail by 2, and right now, Oklahoma shooting 38%, Illinois 31%.
That's incredible, isn't it? That's like basketball back in the 40s. I remember when I used to keep stats for my father's team at Lehigh University. Whenever they could shoot more than 33%, I was saying, boy, they're having a great night. You know, the game has really changed.
11:28 left. Mintz, baseline to Winters. He was intimidated there. Rebound, Tisdale.
He's throwing those elbows, and everybody get out of the way.
Did it kind of a nice way, though.
Yep. This son of a preacher.
Yeah, he sings for his dad's choir, plays the guitar. His brother William plays the drums. William having some knee trouble on the bench right now.
Another brother graduated from Yale. He won't have to worry about an agent.
Here's David Johnson, and here's Tisdale. He's fouled. The basket will count, and Winters committed the foul.
Now, Winters is about 235. Really a powerful player and very agile also. And he goes right in there with Wayman Tisdale, and it's like nobody's even in Tisdale's way. He is so powerful.
A 4-point lead, possibly 5 now if he can complete the 3-point. He has 16 points, 13 rebounds.
You know, really, he hasn't had any time off there except that he talked about those 5 or 6 weeks, because you remember he played in the Pan Am Games the summer before. Won a gold medal down there. Big basket coming up right here for Illinois. They've got to get somebody to start hitting from the outside.
In the first half, Oklahoma led by 7 at one stage, only to lose it. Altberger, rebound by Johnson. Altberger not shooting like you'd expect him to.
That was a brick. They need to get something outside, because Oklahoma's going to pack that 2-3 zone back in even deeper. Wide open is Johnson, but he doesn't come to the ball.
Sean Clark gets it in to Tisdale. They want a foul, but Wayman's intent on getting that one down. Bowie with the rebound. And rebound again by Tisdale. Wait a minute. That's going to be a foul on Tisdale, number 4, and he can't believe it.
Not only that takes a basket away and picks up 4 fouls. You talk about 10 minutes to go in this game.
Do you take him out, Billy, or do you leave him in?
I think you take him out and try to go a couple of minutes. So you can see right here the ball's active. Bowie gets it, goes up and tries a miraculous shot, almost makes it here, and Tisdale's going to get called on the push. Right there it was. Good call by the official.
Tubbs is making no... Yeah, he has. He's got McAllister ready to come in now.
I think you got to take Wayman out. Winters. And what's so tough, Gary, with a 45-second clock, you can't sit on the ball. But I think when you have the lead, take him out and try to hold that lead, or at least stay even for about 3 or 4 minutes.
Winters now with the 11-point steal by Douglas. He led the Big Ten in the
Clark will go up with him. Blocked by Clark. He got it. He pulled it off. He did it in the first half. Clark is, as we pointed out, one of the great leapers in the country. And I think Douglas just underestimated.
He comes up in a hurry, doesn't he? He's sudden when he goes up on the boards. 54, 51. Nice pass to Johnson. That was an excellent pass.
If you're Lou Henson, you'd like to get a timeout, but you don't want it now because that'll give Tisdale an opportunity to come out of the game.
McAllister waiting at the scorer's table. 56-51, Oklahoma. 9:15 left in the game.
Schaefer, who has been the key for Illinois all day. I believe Fire Billy Tubbs, I call a timeout, get Wayman out of there right now with the lead and the ball, and take a chance you can hold it for you can hold on to that lead.
Here is Wayman playing with 3. No foul. Here comes Douglas. I should say 4, and there is the foul on Bowie.
You know, when you take him out now, Billy, when do you bring him back then?
I think you keep him out as long as you can keep the lead, but you keep him out for a couple of minutes anyway, try to shorten up this game, because with a 45-second clock, it is not turned off this year, so you know you got to play the full distance. He is coming out of there.
With 4, and McAllister coming in now. 8:56. Mark that down. Let's see how long they keep him out of there.
Now, it is a very small team that Oklahoma has out there right now. Johnson at 6'7", the biggest guy. I look for Illinois to come back with Montgomery and just try to power him inside right now for a couple of minutes.
They got to make their move with the All-American on the bench. A 3-point lead for Oklahoma. Hence,
there it is.
High low to Winters. He's fouled.
Good move by Illinois. They should just go right down inside and try to power this game away.
Winters going to the line. That foul going on Bowie, his 3rd. That is his 16th team foul now against Oklahoma.
Here's where Altenberger becomes such a key player in this kind of matchup, because you can move him back to guard a quick man in the backcourt and come in there with a very big, powerful team and just go on the boards against Oklahoma.
Winters has sparked this team now in the last 3 to 4 minutes. 12 points, 8 rebounds.
They're not exactly small with Bench, Schaefer, and Winters anyway, so maybe they don't need Montgomery.
Still has that stick of gum in his sweat sock. The left sweat socks. He can't play without the stick of gum there.
He's one of 13 children. That's from Winters.
1 point lead now for Oklahoma.
Now here, Schaefer is playing McAllister. McAllister ought to be able to shake him.
Mintz reach around. Kennedy, good concentration. Daryl Chew Kennedy with 13 points. He started this team very effectively this afternoon. Got the early points.
Oklahoma stays in the zone. Ball should be able to get inside.
Good ball movement that time to Winters. Schaefer follows. Mintz is over the back. He'll commit the foul.
Well, Kennedy doing a great job in there. They list Kennedy at 6'5". I think he's a little bigger than that. And he sure plays a lot bigger. Now, Winters had the shot here. He normally is going to make that play. When he doesn't get it, Schaefer keeps it alive. Remember in the first half, he made a left-handed tap. And there was Mintz coming over the back of Kennedy, who was really doing a good block-out job.
Third foul on Mintz, and Mintz is coming out. Welch will come back in.
Yeah, here's another move. You can come back with Montgomery or with Welch. Hanson has such a deep bench in that front line.
Welch will come back in, playing with 4 fouls. Kennedy with the 13 points, averaging 8.3. But he's just uncanny the way he gets around the basket. The Oklahoma Player of the Year, as you look at Tisdale, sitting down with 4 fouls, 8 minutes to go in the game.
And Gary Kennedy's averaging almost 9 rebounds a game.
Billy Tubbs feels he's potentially a great scorer. 59-55.
Douglas trying to split the 2 men out front and get the ball down through the middle.
Again, they're moving that ball very well against the zone.
Somebody can make an outside shot. There it is.
Winters. Johnson got away with a partial block. Looked like he made body contact.
Excellent timing. There's McAllister. He hadn't been able to break open at all.
Bowie will pop one.
Billy Tubbs would like him to hold the ball a little longer than that.
Winters steal by McAllister. Rebound Kennedy, and Douglas on the steal. Douglas been averaging 2.5 a game.
Timeout Oklahoma. They really need one now to slow this crowd down.
Oklahoma's lead cut to 2. Inside Johnson. Rebound Kennedy.
What a job he's doing.
They don't have any jumpers on this Oklahoma team, do they?
And Billy Tubbs is able to get by with those 3 minutes so far with Wayman on the bench. And Wayman wants to go back in the game.
Illinois has really stayed in this game off the turnover. 61-57. 6:42 left. Winters.
Oh, he can't hit anything, Gary. That's his shot. Efren Kelly was fouled there, but normally he puts that ball right in.
He was looking for help that time from the striped shirt. Didn't get it. Rebound Kennedy.
That's his 3rd rebound. 2 defensive and 1 offensive rebound. Bad shot. Even if it goes, it was a bad shot.
Schaefer with the rebound.
I think Billy Tubbs needs a timeout here to get his club calmed down and have him understand what he wants to accomplish with Tisdale out of here.
Here's Schaefer again. Tom Schaefer playing a strong game. Averaging 5 points. He has hit 6 of 7 from the field.
Well, I saw that UAB Auburn game from last night. It was a great one, and this has been an outstanding game also.
Oklahoma has their lead again, cut to 2. 5:42. What do you think? 4 minutes will bring Tisdale in?
I'm surprised they didn't call a timeout to get organized. They're slowing the pace down a little bit now, which is wise. Clock down now to 18 seconds.
Kennedy wide open.
He's been the man of the hour.
Yes, he has.
Kennedy on one end, Schaefer on the other.
It's more than Wayman Tisdale. This Oklahoma team, they are going to be very supportive to the All-American.
I say 4 minutes, and you'll see Wayman back in there.
5:11 left in the game. 63-59 Oklahoma.
He went out with a 4-point lead, right?
That's right. Kennedy mistimed it. Altenberger's got it. And a basket. And a foul. No, they're going to wave it off. How can that be?
And Oklahoma, that's interesting to be happy that the foul was called. Wayman wants to get back in that game. They're waving the shot off. Schaefer going up. Altenberger again coming in. These guards rebound so well for Illinois. Altenberger did a great job not shuffling his feet. The foul is called before he went up for the shot.
And the basket will not count. Altenberger with a 1-and-1. 63-59. 4:59 left in the game.
And here comes Tisdale off that bench.
Wayman coming in. There's 4 fouls. McAllister will leave, and we don't see the Tim McAllister yet. He's going to have to come back, play like he did last year for this team to defend that Big 8 championship.
And I don't know today if it was a matter of his knee or a matter of Altenberger's defense early in the game.
63-61, CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
You're expecting bigger yields, and when it's time, you will harvest more acres with less effort with John Deere Titan combines. Until September of 1985, qualified buyers save thousands of dollars and get interest-free financing on every new Titan combine in stock. They offer features to improve productivity under tough conditions. Your John Deere dealer in Watseka is Shoemaker Equipment Company. Your John Deere dealer in Monticello is J.R. Heath & Son Company.
Race fans, hot rodders! Ford, America's best truck, and your Indianapolis Metro Ford dealers proudly present the U.S. Hot Rod Truck and Tractor Pull Championship. 2 exciting nights of funny cars, dragster tractors, and wild, earth-shaking fun in the Hoosier Dome. Hoosier Dome, Hoosier Dome, Hoosier Dome. Friday and Saturday, December 14th and 15th at 8 p.m. See Bob Chandler's new incredible Bigfoot 4. Plus the Chi-Town Hustler, Warlord, and Tennessee Thunder. Plus the National Wheelie King, Alan Gage. Tickets now at Ticketmaster locations. And the Hoosier Dome box office for power.
Next week, we'll be in the Capitol Center at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas against Georgetown. You'll see Richie Adams, the Player of the Year in the PCAA, 6'9" jumping jack. And here's David Wingate, as the game last year went into overtime, and Wingate won it with that very shot. 1 o'clock Eastern from the Capitol Center, the Rebels against the defending national champions, the Georgetown Hoyas. But right now, we have a good one here. 4:59 left. Wayman Tisdale has come back into the lineup. His teammates leading by 2.
There you see Billy Tubbs over there. I thought there was a good quote that he's credited with, where his wife said that Billy loves basketball more than he loves me. And Billy said, yeah, but I love you more than track. That's the kind of guy. He's a pretty intense fella. And 38 days in the hospital 2 years ago.
He still has some problems hearing out of his right ear because of being run over when he was jogging. Recovered very nicely. Looks a lot better than we saw him last year. He's recovered physically.
Well, what if the president has trouble hearing out of one ear too, but he's done all right. So I imagine Billy Tubbs will carry on.
So Tisdale is in. We have 4:55 left, and the Sooners protecting a 2-point lead.
Montgomery back in the game also. Ephraim Winters out.
Montgomery playing with 4 fouls. So he and Tisdale have to be careful. Blocked that time by Scott Mintz.
Teams that would scout Illinois have got to realize when the ball goes into the low post, there's an automatic double team, and the guys have got to learn to move away from the ball.
Or it's reject time.
That's right. Somebody must be open.
Altenberger has been cold, continues to be. Montgomery forces it.
Notice Tisdale wisely did not reach in there and commit a foolish foul.
It's tied up for the 5th time, 63 apiece.
Douglas on Bowie.
There's Tisdale directing traffic inside. Yelled something to David Johnson.
Now, Tisdale would like to have that ball with Mintz on him.
He says, no, don't give it to me now. Well, he's really quarterbacking the team, isn't he?
Well, Montgomery knows where Tisdale is. There was the lob opportunity.
There's Mintz reaching in, and he committed the foul.
Over the top.
Scott Mintz now has 4 fouls.
Illinois really well coached in regard to positioning with the big men inside on the defense. They were the first team in 40 years to lead the Big Ten in scoring offense and scoring defense last year, which is quite a feat.
And they ended up being co-champions with Purdue and lost to Kentucky in a Rupp Arena by 3 points with an Ephraim Winters playing on a bad ankle.
That's right.
There's Tisdale giving the lead back to Oklahoma.
Remember last year when they had a quadruple overtime against Michigan and then a double overtime against Iowa, back-to-back games.
Tisdale misses second. Illinois had a triple overtime against Oregon at the Alaska shootout. 1-point lead for the Sooners.
Montgomery won that ball across the middle.
Here's Schaefer playing with such confidence. Rebound, David Johnson.
Johnson protects that ball well.
3:23 left in the game. You see the time.
And there'll be no delay game. Now, there are pros and cons to that in regard to the collegiate game. No place to go.
And it's going to be a foul.
Hence, he didn't get there in time.
And he's fouled out of the ball game. Welch will come in.
Well, maybe Winters will come back in. Wait a minute, is that Schaefer going out? I don't think Henson would make that move considering the foul situation. You see that Mintz does not get there in time. Johnson puts it up. That's his 5th.
Yeah, he's not coming out of there, though. Now here he comes.
Yeah, I think it'll be Winters coming in. Henson was making a defensive switch prior to that foul situation. Well, he's got to change now.
So he's got both Welch and Winters coming in.
The official telling Henson that he couldn't cross over the coaching box line. That hadn't been a factor today.
And that's surprising because Billy Tubbs is pretty animated.
Well, and Henson can come over that line right now in regard to the clock is stopped. He can talk to his player.
Anyway, Mintz fouls out, did not score. Johnson at the line. 2 big misses at the free throw line.
Well, Johnson not a great free throw shooter.
Both teams are in the 1-1, 64-63. Oklahoma, 3 minutes to go.
Here's a case where Illinois found out earlier. They have somebody that can stick the jump shot consistently. They haven't had it so far today.
Welch is going to try to do that. Johnson had it momentarily. Montgomery chased it down. Altenberger blocked beautifully. That is Kennedy, who's been everywhere.
He came all the way from across the lane to make that block.
Timeout with 2:45 left. Oklahoma with a 1-point lead.
Give me a light. Bud Light?
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
AT&T is in boots. How? Our people can show a Texas bootmaker how to expand his business outside of Texas.
I wish I'd gotten those boots.
I knew you wanted them.
By using an AT&T 800 service number,
I should have gotten them.
His customers can call toll-free from anywhere in the country.
It said it's the toll-free call.
I want those boots.
I'll send them right out. Oh, and thanks
The people of AT&T Communications, we're thinking about your business in ways you never thought of.
Kendall Motor Oil protects engines from friction. To prove how well, we plated ordinary piston rings with pure gold and ran them inside this engine for 5,000 miles. Kendall friction fighters are better than car makers demand. But can Kendall protect even soft gold? Look, no visible wear. That's protection. Friction fighting Kendall Motor Oil for protection worth its weight in gold.
With all 5 teams in the NFC East still in contention, the race for the playoffs is wide open. See the Cowboys against the Eagles among the regional games tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Assembly Hall, 16,671. You couldn't squeeze anybody else in here. And that's the time left, and that's the score. Oklahoma leading it by 1. The timeouts remaining. The big story, the foul situation. Tisdale is in there playing with 4. Montgomery is in there playing with 4. Mintz is fouled out for Illinois.
Little man-to-man defense now. Oh, Kennedy Really didn't realize what defense they're in. He looked like he was playing somebody man-to-man, but they are back to the 2-3 zone.
The only mistake he's made today.
That's about right. And again, you've got Ephraim Winters last year shot 57%, Douglas 51%. This year, they're both shooting under 36%. So Illinois' fortunes are going to have to rest on these fellas coming back to hit that jumper.
They're only shooting 29% as a team in the second half. I don't know how low that's been when they've ever reached that level before.
Good catch. Great
play by Montgomery.
Oh, that was a great catch.
Illinois by 1. 11 points for Big George.
I mean, the ability to catch a ball in traffic is so important in basketball. That could have been an easy turnover had Montgomery not been able to pull it down.
Both these teams have done a good job at that. Johnson out to Kennedy.
Tisdale won that ball, but Winters and Montgomery are on it.
And that is some beat when you get those two guys on it.
So Johnson's going to be open. Oh, what a catch.
Tisdale with that great catch. Exactly what you were talking about.
That was a bad play by Johnson, and Tisdale's catch was just so good.
20 points for Tisdale, a 1-point lead for the Sooners. What a game here at Assembly Hall. The Big 8 and the Big 10. Welch.
There's the jumper they've needed.
That's the 8th lead change of this game. 11 points for Anthony Welch.
Move by Bowie.
Bowie, boy, for a guy who hasn't played that much in big-time basketball, he's playing with real poise.
That's a breakdown defensively for Illinois, because when he made the reverse dribble, it should have been help for Douglas.
Again, the lead changes hands. The Sooners by 1.
Welch won that jump shot again.
You see the time, 45
Welch wants
seconds.
the jump shot. Bad pass.
Well, he hit one a while ago. He got his confidence back. Altenberger has not been shooting well. Followed by Welch.
Well, Gary, you can just sense when a guy wants to score. He wants to put up the shot, and that was Welch's turn right there.
Oklahoma calls timeout. 31 seconds. The Sooners trailing by 1. They have the basketball.
Oh, no, I dropped it. It's broken. Can't somebody make a flashlight that'll work when you need it?
Duracell did. Durabeam, a flashlight that really works when you need it. Durabeam's casing is as tough as a football helmet. The lens is shatterproof. It'll throw a light 50% brighter than ordinary flashlights. And obviously, it's weatherproof. Ask him how important that is. Durabeam from Duracell. The gift that really works when you need it.
Ah, the joys of watching football on the Sony. What a picture, what a game. What about the rest of your family? Remember them? They have to use the other set, the one without the exclusive Trinitron picture, the one without the patented one-gun, one-lens system, the one that isn't a Sony. But do you care about your second set? Nah, you don't really need another Sony, do you? Or do you?
Confidence. We all want our children to have confidence. But to give it to them, we have to feel confident. And that's where Nationwide Insurance can help. With insurance protection that can give you the confidence you need, so you can give it to the people you love. All part of Nationwide's blanket protection for your family or business.
Nationwide is on your side.
69-68 Illinois. Oklahoma has the ball with 31 seconds left.
You know, Gary, we talk about this game being played with a 45-second clock. Both conferences using it. Interesting situation. We have on our last regular season game of the year, we have Georgia Tech from the ACC playing at Oklahoma. Now, that's 1 week away before the NCAA tournament starts. I wonder at that time if the coaches will decide to play without the clock, because in NCAA tournament play, they'll not be playing with a 45-second clock.
Well, this game in Springfield, Massachusetts, they played without the shot clock. And Tisdale with 20 points, encouraging his teammates. They'll have to bring it the length of the floor with 31 seconds left.
You know, they talk about Tisdale's Olympian teammate, Michael Jordan, playing with so much enthusiasm. You think Tisdale won't sell some tickets?
Now, Tisdale just called another timeout. What did they see?
Probably the out-of-bounds situation, taking a look at the defense.
So we'll take a break. Oklahoma talking it over.
If you can see the difference between this
And this, smile, because Gleam can make the same difference in your teeth. You see, only Gleam has calcium P. And laboratory tests prove it gets stained teeth whiter than any leading fluoride brand. Whiter than any gel, whiter than any polish. How much whiter? 30% whiter. And you'll still get Gleam's proven fluoride protection. So if your teeth aren't as white as they can be, start brushing with Gleam. You'll be smiling. Pretty.
Do you know me? You may know my do-wacka-doo, wacka-doo, wacka-doo, wacka-doo. But my do-wacka-doo don't do me no good when I'm traveling. So I just got myself an American Express card. And that makes me the king of the road.
To apply for the card, look for an application and take one.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Oklahoma has McAllister in along with Clark, Bowie, Tisdale, and Kennedy. Illinois still around Coach Lou Henson.
Now, one of the things you don't want to do if you're a coach in this situation is send your team out on the floor first, because you want the other team to show what they're going to do defensively. Billy Tubbs had his team run down onto the floor, and he called them back. You like to see what the defense is going to set up with, and it looks like in this case, Illinois is going to force Oklahoma to take a lot of time bringing the ball up the court by going man-to-man full court pressure. Kennedy and Clark at the other end as they try to bring it up with this threesome and bat it away. Montgomery away. And there was a very wise play by Illinois coach Lou Henson. Set up man-to-man full court pressure and took the game away. Gary, the coach keeps his team on the bench as long as he can, so the other team has to show what they're going to do. Illinois then came out, set up man-to-man full court pressure. Great job by Ephraim Withers. Bad pass by McAllister. That may have sealed this ball game. We'll be back. 71-68 Illinois.
This buzz for everyone in the spotlight before the show begins. Just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Hey, man, nice job.
This Bud's sweet.
America's driving, driving over. America's driving to Firestone. We're with you coast to coast. Firestone. Keep you moving on the go now. The driving force is Firestone.
Come on, America. Drive over now to Firestone Tire and Service Center.
Firestone.
Gary Bender along with Billy Packer. Billy, all that timeout strategy by Oklahoma that backfired on him. Well, execution will always kill you. That was not a good pass by McAllister. And really, I don't believe that Oklahoma anticipated that kind of full court pressure. Anthony Welch, by guarding the man taking the ball in bounds, is such a tough target to throw over. Now Oklahoma, Illinois is changing. Well, they got Welch is going to guard. That's what he did the last time. Yep. That was still a lot of time. You've got Tisdale's a good three-point play man. Illinois has 10 steals in this game. Clark, not a good rebound. Altenberger and a reach-in foul on Sean Clark. Not a good play by Clark. You've got to put the ball inside the Tisdale and try to go for the three-point play. They had 17 seconds. That's a lot of time to go ahead and work that ball into Wayman. The statistic that jumps out at you in this game is Oklahoma has committed 16 turnovers, Illinois 5. 10 points have come off turnovers for this Illinois team. You've got Altenberger on the foul line, a very good shooter. Now, this is a young Oklahoma team. I think they're going to keep getting better and better all the time. And think of this, McAllister really was no factor today, and he is an all-American caliber type player. Coming up Pat O'Brien with scores and highlights following this. We'll have a post-game show and talking to the coaches and players. Wait a minute. That free throw disallowed as Maricic blew the whistle.
I don't agree with that particular call. First of all, the players were up on the floor, but they were not out of the coach's box. They're allowed to do that.
As long as you stay in that paint area.
Yeah, the official never should have blown the whistle there.
Altberger gets both of them. 73-68. Got to put it up in a hurry. Clark, they're going to play off of him. He missed everything. Good block out by Montgomery. He lost the ball. It'll be Oklahoma's with now only 8 seconds. So the Illini are going to make it 2 in a row over Oklahoma.
And this is a good showing by Oklahoma, though.
Tisdale will lay off again. He gets the shot. He has 22 points. And timeout called.
5 seconds to go. Not much chance to do anything here.
You have to get the steal and hope that somebody fouls you to get the three-point play. Well, we want to thank the people we work so diligently with and who do such a fine job. Our executive producer, Kevin O'Malley. Our producer, Rick Sharp. Our director, Larry Cavallina. Bob Rowe, our associate director. Steve Shear, along with Doug Fleetum, our field technical manager. These people, we've enjoyed it as we get started here for this 84-85 season. CBS, the home of the NCAA Basketball Championship. Mike Swanson, our statistician, coming over from football and figuring out what the stats are in basketball for him.
Gary, a pretty good start for us, and it gives you a little idea about two conferences that are going to be important in the NCAA tournament this year. The Big Ten, which we mentioned. You've got Illinois and Indiana. Now, we've seen them both. They're both going to be great ball clubs as this year moves on. But the Big Ten is deep behind that. Ohio State, I like their ball club.
That's the guy that Lou Henson feels is the sleeper this year.
Well, they've got Sellers, a transfer over from Wisconsin. It helps them in the middle. They've got an experienced backcourt. Michigan, even though they lost McCormick and Turner, they're a team that's going to be tough to handle. Michigan State is a pretty nice ball club. Iowa, a nice ball club. So the Big Ten is deep after you get by the two biggies at the top. And then you've got to look at the Big Eight with Kansas and Oklahoma, probably a two-team race over there. Both of them, though, can be factors in the NCAA.
And, of course, we'll have Kansas and Oklahoma playing in Norman on CBS, and we have Memphis State at Kansas. We have outstanding schedule coming up as we bring you into the tournament play in March. Next week, it'll be UNLV, Jerry Tarkanian's crew, who lost in overtime in that beautiful facility in Las Vegas, going against the Hoyas of Georgetown. And think Georgetown can repeat?
I really believe they can compete, but I believe the country this year is going to be a lot more, have a lot more depth with quality teams than I ever imagined. We saw Louisville last week go up against Indiana. It looks like the Metro is going to be so strong this year. The Sun Belt, you see what South Alabama did last night to Houston.
And UAB winning the Greater Alaska Shootout. Oklahoma now needs to steal with 5 seconds, trailing by 3.
All you want to do if you're Illinois here is to get the ball inbounds. Give it right back to Douglas and hold it.
Douglas, they can't even catch him to foul him. Beautiful play. The basket will not count. Illinois is now 5-1. Illinois defeating 10th-ranked Oklahoma and the Chevrolet Most Valuable Players of the game. For Oklahoma, Darrell Kennedy with 18 points in the game. And for the Fighting Illini of Illinois was Tom Schaefer, strong game, with 12 points. And a check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. So the Sooners of Oklahoma, after trailing by 2 at halftime, came back to take the lead, and then Illinois down the stretch, hitting the baskets inside, playing excellent defense at the other end of the floor, and pulled it out. They now go to 5-1. On the other hand, Oklahoma's record for the year now is at 2-2. Illinois, the defending co-champions of the Big Ten, along with Purdue. We'll be back later with interviews, but right now, let's go to New York. Pat O'Brien along with Ara Parseghian.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. And, of course, Ara used to be a basketball coach at Miami of Ohio. What'd you do? Lose one game over there, you're telling me, right?
Well, as a freshman coach, but now I know why I selected football. You're hanging on every one of those rims.
Okay, for you basketball fans, we have something special coming up here on CBS. We have a close look at St. John's University. Now, they got big Chris Mullen, and Walter Berry has come back to the Bronx.